held on to our faith, waiting for George Michael to release a new album. And the wait is finally over with his brand new, aptly titled CD, Patience. Please welcome back George Michael.
It's wonderful to have you here.
Okay.
What a nice
I am jumping out of my skin right now. I am a huge fan.
Oh, thank you.
I used to listen to you on my little mint green stereo, walking around the block with the strap. Loved it. Absolutely. I don't think I'm alone because everybody here has been going nuts all But George, you, at the height of your stardom, you left us. And you took a break for 8 years. Why did you go away and leave us waiting for you?
I kind of took a break as of 1991 because, for those who remember, those of us who are old enough to remember, it was quite intense, the actual time in which I was very successful as a solo artist here. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was a little bit... American stardom is a completely different level to stardom in Europe.
Why? What's different?
I think it's almost like celebrity. It's not so different now, but in those days, it's like celebrity was a much bigger deal here, and that kind of celebrity culture is everywhere now.
Right.
But at the time, I was really kind of a bit freaked out about how much attention I was getting, and I didn't have Andrew from Wham, basically, to kind of bounce the kind of ridiculousness of it off of. You know, I just felt very... So I took some time out to try and work out what I wanted.
And you were angry at the media, correct?
Yeah, I was kind of...
Did you partially blame them for your then boyfriend's death?
Well, actually, all of that was slightly after. I made the decision that actually I was a very unhappy 25-year-old with all these things to be happy about. I was, you know, very privileged 25-year-old, and I wasn't happy. A lot of it, well, I think now, in retrospect, was based on loneliness and not understanding my sexuality. Right. But I took time out to try and get my life together, and then when actually my life happened and was falling into place the way I wanted it, everything kind of went wrong. And I had a really long stream of bad luck to kind of counterbalance the incredible luck I'd had in my 20s. You know, I was a very lucky boy. Really, I went through 2 bereavements, one after the other, which kind of took the wind out of me. And when I lost my mother, I lost my partner in '93, and then when I lost my mother in '96, '97, sorry, it really kind of, it stopped my writing, it stopped me being able to work, and it really took 3 or 4 years to get over. So the whole period of those 2 bereavements took a big chunk out of my work. And, you know, but now, I mean, the last year and a half has been fantastic. The last 8 years, I've had a wonderful partner who I don't think I would have made it without, you know.
Who's here?
Who's here?
Who's sitting there.
What's his name?
I think I'm Kenny. Kenny.
Oh, Kenny.
Hello.
Like Dame Edna's always talking about Kenny, her son Kenny.
Oh, that's right, Kenny. No,
Different one. You also went through another hard time in 1998 when you were arrested for lewd conduct in the bathroom in Beverly Hills. Looking back on that now, what do you say to your fans about all of that?
Well, I think actually the fans that are really kind of hardcore fans know my take on it, because I released a single and video that was extremely successful in the rest of the world, which basically made light of the whole event. And because in comparison with those things, it was light to me. It was a huge, I know it was a huge media story, and it was funny. Ultimately, it was funny, even if it's unfortunate for the person involved. It's something that you understand being funny. So I made a very funny video and a funny song to kind of, and really it kind of got rid of the whole issue in Europe.
The Brits know how to work that, because look at Hugh Grant. Didn't he do the same thing when he got caught?
Well, I think he looked a bit more guilty than me.
Well, there was more proof. But he went on Letterman or Leno and made a big joke about it, and it went away.
Well, I kind of did. I did that. I did do that, but it just still didn't go away, because ultimately, what I really needed, ultimately, my greatest artistic statement about it was in the record and the video. And then, you know, but because they weren't seen in America, I guess people thought that maybe I disappeared, you know, for 4 or 5 years in shame. But really, in terms of, in comparison to what was going on in my life, it was of no real importance to me.
But, you know, you introduced us to Kenny a minute ago and the love of your life, but there was a time when you did not talk about your sexuality at all, when you kind of kept it quiet from your fans. Were you worried, since you had so many women who were your fans, that they would not be able to identify with you, or they would resent it, or what
I have to be completely honest. I actually, probably from the point of faith onwards, right, I truly didn't believe it would matter that much, because I felt that I'd established a rapport that would overcome that. And I think in reality, it didn't make a jot of difference to my career in the rest of the world. It's a bigger deal here. It's a bigger deal. This is a much more religious country than most of the countries I'm successful in.
Do you think that's what the reason is? Because I read somewhere that there was some concern that George Michael would not be accepted as a, quote, gay artist. What does your sexual orientation have to do with your music?
Well, I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with that, but
me.
it seems to have much more of an impact over here.
Because people are judgmental, that's why, and you know, and it's not easily accepted. Of course it's wrong, but people like you who are great artists had to deal with people's morality that's misguided and judgmental. And it's wrong.
And I think what people also need to understand, for me, this is something I deal with on a very public level, but my actual daily life is not affected by it. Whereas I deal with people who are in ordinary walks of life, even in England, and I'm sure probably more so in this country, who deal with it every day, in terms of people's response to them at work, you know, the friends and stuff like that. And I'm really lucky that I don't have that actually my success negates that in life, really, on a day-to-day basis. So I don't feel particularly persecuted by it. I feel saddened that the idea that people who really could relate to what I was singing about feel that those things don't speak to them if I'm talking about my own sex.
Yes,
you know? To me, love is love is love.
Love is love is love.
But you've been through it all now, so whatever.
We're so glad you sing about it. And guess what? Don't go anywhere, because up next, George Michael will perform his hot new single, Amazing.
The Terminal star Tom Hanks is taking him to View Friday.